Hey there, so glad you made it. Thanks for joining me for this very special training, the Automated Clients on Demand Website Blueprint for Service Businesses. And this is where you're going to discover how to create and launch your own automated client generating website without the content confusion, tech troubles, or designer price tags. Now, this is super topical right now because if we've learned anything over these past few years, it's the importance of a really solid online strategy. More specifically, a way to automate that client generating process. So there's no better time than right now to work on amplifying your online presence and making your business stronger, to get more prepared and organized, to make sure your sales strategies and your most important marketing asset, which is your website, is organized and optimized so that you can always be found and chosen over your competition. And absolutely everything I show you today is 100% doable by you, meaning you can get up and running for way less money than if you were to pay someone else to do it for you. So I'm going to show you how you can stop struggling to attract clients in your service-based business and finally start feeling confident in the profits that you bring in through that leveraged asset that I'm going to help you create today. And that asset, the mechanism that's going to do this for you is, of course, your website. More specifically, my proven website system that leaves nothing out and will essentially become your best salesperson that works 24 hours a day on autopilot. So by the end of this hour, you're going to know exactly what you need to do to create that kind of website that I used to charge $10,000 or more for when I was still, doing this as a done-for-you service for my clients. Everything from really easy formulas to create persuasive content to actually building a beautiful site without needing to know any code and without resorting to something, like Wix or Squarespace, which can really limit your success and actually make clients trust you less. And I do want to let you know up front that I'm going to show you a little later on in this training how you can get even more guidance and hand-holding from me as you go about creating your new website. But even if you don't choose to take me up on that, I promise you what you learn here today to do yourself will be a game changer for your business. I'm not going to be holding anything back, I promise you that. And if you stay till the end, you'll get an opportunity to get a really special bonus I've created where you can actually get private one-on-one feedback from me on your website in a Zoom call just between you and me. So you'll get the details on that at the end of the session. So before we get too far into this, I do want to clarify who this special training is really designed to help. So if any of these situations apply to you, you're definitely in the right place. So if you run a service-based business of any kind, this works for all service businesses. It's really not for e-commerce. You could still get some good takeaways, but this training is especially designed for you service businesses. You're starting a brand new website and you want to stack the deck in your favor to start out on the right foot and fill your business with new clients every single day. You have a current website that just isn't bringing new clients in the door and you're motivated to step it up. Or finally, you're at a point in your business where you have more time to invest than money and you're ready to put in a little sweat equity to get the results you want. So I'm going to make it very easy on you this entire way with formulas and frameworks. But this is definitely not a get-rich-quick scheme, right? You'll need to take what you learned today and actually put it into action if you want to see results. Whatever your motivation, I've got your back. I'm here to support you and get you started doing things the way I personally know is going to work. I don't teach what I don't know, but this I know. So why should you listen to me in the first place? Well, long story short, I started off as a web designer back in 2005, and I was doing what all the other designers were doing, right? Trying to get clients and then basically asking them what they wanted. And then I just gave it to them, with the focus on making it pretty, making it cool, or, quote, creative. But there was a problem with that. Focusing on creativity and the looks of the site alone wasn't getting any results for my clients. So you may be feeling something like that right now too. And it can feel like a failure, right? Especially when you worked really hard on a website or maybe even worse, you paid a lot of money for one and it still isn't doing anything to get you new clients in the door. So that's how I felt, right? Charging money for these websites that were just an overblown expense for my clients. And I felt really bad about that. And I was honestly embarrassed in doing that and delivering that, which really lit a fire under me to do better. So kind of like what you're doing here right now, trying to learn what websites actually need to properly sell your services, I did that on a much larger scale because I was in that position of having dozens of real businesses as clients. So I just took it upon myself to learn everything I could about marketing principles, copywriting, sales psychology, right? And I started experimenting with all of it across a really wide range of all different service business niches. And I started to see pretty quickly what worked and what didn't because I could just see all my clients' analytics, right? I could literally see those lines moving up and to the right in terms of how long people stayed on these new sites and how many actually converted into booking, consultations, appointments, becoming paying clients. So by going through all that real world trial and error, I found the winning formula that I still teach my students and to my YouTube audience to this day. And while I was still doing client work, I would actually use this same formula to create and sell these fully optimized websites to my clients. And I was able to charge much more money for them than I was able to charge before, simply because I have all this data and results to back me up. And the really cool part is the formula is 100% repeatable because it uses very worked out and proven frameworks that can be customized for any service business, and it hasn't failed me or any of my students yet. So as of today, this framework that I'm going to show you has been applied to over 200 of my clients' websites and over 900 websites of students inside my paid program, resulting in anywhere from 50 to 300% increases in clients generated, which translates into much higher profits as well. Just imagine having a website that's built on a proven system that's going to run in the background 24/7, essentially acting as your best salesperson, right? What could you turn your attention to then to grow even more as a business? And what if you didn't need to worry about where your next clients were coming from? Whatever that success looks like for you, that is my goal for you today. So to do this, this is the important thing that you really need to understand. A strategic website system is the most important marketing tool for any service business, yes, even yours. When done right, this can increase desire for your services, shorten your sales cycle, and automate client and lead generation every single day, consistently and predictably. So there's a big misconception out there that, social media is the new website, or that using some type of fancy sales funnel software is a suitable replacement for having a website. Now, social media and funnel software definitely have their place, but they don't and they really can't replace what your website can do for your business. Funnels are pretty much a workaround that can get you up and running quickly, but they'll usually make you look like a fly-by-night operation. And social media should definitely be used to drive people to your website, where you can then lay everything out in a really clear, concise way that persuades them to take action. But not just any website can do that for you, and your website needs to fit into a larger system. Otherwise, it's just a big digital brochure or business card, and that is why most websites fail to produce meaningful results. And today's training is all about the system. So now let's dive right into the roadmap so you can see how you can create the automated clients on demand website that your business needs. And we're gonna start with a profitable website secret if you're ready for it. And that secret is the business that can most clearly express how they solve their client's problem wins. You know people are coming to your website because they have a problem that they need solved, right? And on your website, they're looking for little indicators that'll let them know if you're the business that can help them or not. And guess what? This is so unbelievably powerful that even if your business provides a worse service than your competition, Not saying it does, I'm just saying even if you did, as long as you can more clearly communicate your value than your competition, even if they're better than you are still more likely to win their business. And the reason for that is simple. As human beings, we're hardwired to not only survive, but thrive and to conserve as much energy as possible to do it. So if someone lands on your website and they don't immediately see how you can help them thrive, aka, getting their problem solved, how many calories do you think that they're going to burn in figuring it out? Not many. And the harsh truth is, most small businesses, heck, most big businesses for that matter, do a terrible job at communicating this. But you're here with me today, so I know you won't be making this mistake, right? I'm going to help you get real clear on communicating what you can offer your clients in a way that means something to them so you can be the one that wins the business. Sound good? And the way you'll accomplish this is a 1-2 punch of clarity and simplicity. So we'll get to the second part of this a little later, but for now, let's focus on ultimate website clarity. So right now, I want you to picture the top of your website's homepage. And if you're just getting started and you're here to find out how to make your first website, no worries, just picture every website homepage that you've ever seen. In most cases, it looks a little something like these, right? We in the web business call this the homepage hero section. And as simple as this section seems, it actually has a really big job to do. So to be effective and get people to stay and learn anything else about you as a business, you have to communicate what you do, how that helps your clients thrive, remember, and what they need to do to get it. And it gets even trickier because all this needs to be communicated and understood in about 10 seconds max. I call that the 10-second test, and if you fail it, you can pretty much kiss all your hard-earned website traffic goodbye. And you don't have to take my word for it. This has actually been studied pretty extensively by the world leaders in research-based user experience. So the Nielsen Normal Group has to say that users often leave web pages in 10 to 20 seconds, but pages with a clear value proposition can hold people's attention for much longer. To gain several minutes of user attention, you must clearly communicate your value proposition within 10 seconds. Remember, human beings are hardwired to conserve energy. They're not going to waste it on trying to figure out if you can help them or not. So they know that they have lots of options out there, right? And they're just going to hit that little back button and try their luck elsewhere. So let's have a little fun here and take a look at a hero section that definitely fails that 10-second test. I recently found this company's website and I was like, oh my God, this is the perfect example of what not to do. I have no idea what this company does based on this, do you? I didn't think so. Now, granted, this is a really extreme example, but if you're falling prey to using too much insider jargon like this, or if you're just talking about you as a business, you can do much better than that. Now, this is a hero section that works. And the reason it works is just because it addresses what this business provides, which is physical therapy, why it matters, and what they need to do next. Isn't this so much better? It's not all about the business. It's not stuffed full of keywords or complicated language. This is clear, and it's clear in well under 10 seconds. I'd say this is clear within 5. So now you know why it pays to make your website extremely clear in what you offer and why it matters. But what about the other ingredient in this recipe? I'm talking about keeping your website super simple. I bet you've seen a whole lot of websites that look a little something like this. So check this out. Oh my God, we have a quiz we could take. There's a big chat box that opens up right when you get to the page, and we definitely want people to share the site with their friends on social. Don't forget about that. And yes, a newsletter pop-up that appears a few seconds later. That's exactly what people are looking for when they come to my site, right? Heck, not only do I not know what to do next here, I don't even know where to look, do you? Websites that have too many pages, too many competing messages, and that pull visitors in a million different directions just muck up the message and confuse the heck out of your potential clients. In other words, a website like this will absolutely kill your sales. When people are trying to decide if they should be reading, clicking, sharing, or if what they need is buried on one of these other pages, guess who's been taken right out of the path toward becoming a client? No, isn't this much better? It's simple, it's clean, and it keeps your visitors scrolling through the page so that they can get the information they need when they need it to help them see the value in what you bring to the table. So let's talk about 3 things that you should seriously consider removing from your website, or if you're starting from scratch, for sure leave these things out for maximum clarity and simplicity. 1, links to your social media. Now, I know the appeal of social is strong and it does have a place in your business. Specifically, social media should be used to funnel people back to your website where you control the conversation, not the other way around. When you sprinkle those colorful little social media icons or you include a gallery of all your latest Instagram posts, what you're really doing is bouncing them off your website into the ultimate distraction of social media. So don't do that. Next, wording that's all to do with you as a business. Seriously, I know it sounds harsh, but save the history lessons for 5th period, okay? Remember, people come to your website to see if you can help them, not to sit through a spiel about how your grandfather founded the company back in 1949 and all the awards you won and the Little League teams you sponsored since then. Now, I am not saying there's no room on your website to talk about why you should be trusted. There definitely is, but the emphasis should never really be on you as a business. Remember, your website needs to be all about your clients and how you help them. And third, leave out any pages, sections, or even sentences that don't somehow address a benefit and ultimately lead to a conversion. So your website doesn't need, and quite honestly shouldn't have, 35 pages, especially if it's mostly business-centric content. In fact, the websites that are most successful at converting casual visitors to warm leads and paying clients have about 10 pages or less, including their individual service pages. So what I'm saying is having a highly converting client-generating website is not only easier on you because it's a much smaller project than you may have thought, but your visitors who are on their way to becoming clients will actually prefer it, because when your site is smaller and you lay out the path in front of them of where to go and when, they'll be more at ease and much more open to taking in and understanding every word you say. Pretty cool, right? So now let's turn the tables and look at 3 things that you should include on your website if you want to achieve that maximum client generation power. So number 1, clear benefit-driven wording that emphasizes the problem you solve, how you solve it, and the positive outcomes that they can expect when they work with you. Number 2, carefully chosen images that show that happy after state that your clients will feel after you've helped them. Now, these can be stock images. They don't need to be custom. Just you want to choose really carefully here. And I give a lot of my best tips on how to choose the right photos inside of the Profitable Website Launchpad. So if you struggle with image selection, you'll definitely want to join me in that program. I'll tell you about that later. And number 3, you want to include a crystal clear call to action that takes your site visitors by the hand and walks them right toward the finish line, or at the very least, toward having a real conversation with you. So now I want to show you a real-life, tangible example so that you can see what can happen when you implement these changes, clarify your message, and simplify your website. Okay, so I want to talk about Punch Love. They're a women's-only gym with a couple locations in Sydney, Australia, and this was their website before. While it's obvious what they are, it's super text-heavy and it's not really engaging, is it? In other words, it's not super simple on people to get through and see what's in it for them to join up. And they were actually spending lots of money on Facebook ads to get people to this page. And as you might expect, that paid traffic wasn't converting very well based on what they found when they got here. This page was converting about 2% of site visitors into members, and they were paying close to $10 per lead. And truth be told, neither of these stats is too terrible, but take a look at what happens next. It's pretty cool. This is their new website. So much cleaner, so much simpler to take it all in and understand what they're trying to say, right? Everything's laid out in a really clear way, and it's visual and engaging enough to keep people scrolling all the way down to the bottom. And here's the really cool part. Because of these changes, they were able to bump that conversion rate from 2% up to 18%, meaning 18% of people landing on this page went on to become paying members. And because they were already running those Facebook ads to the page, the fact that this page was just working smarter at converting those leads, their new cost per lead shot way down from $10 to just $3.08 each. So all said and done, their new clients have increased 4 times as a direct result of tweaking what they had to make it even clearer and simpler to understand. So before we move on, I want you to think about what's one change that you can make on your website today that could have a similar effect. What could you add or remove that'll help you communicate more clearly and simply what you offer your clients? Got it? All right, cool. Let's move on. Lots more good stuff to get to. So it's time for another profitable website secret, and that is psychology is predictable. So are the sales you can make. So here's the thing. We as human beings are all different and special in our own unique ways individually, but in large numbers as a group, the majority of people are pretty predictable in how we react to things and how we behave in certain situations. And when it comes to creating our websites, this is a very good thing because we know that including certain triggers will have a specific desired effect on our prospects' buying decisions. Here's something you may or may not know, but 95% of buying decisions are based on emotion rather than on logic. And no, it's not just my opinion. This has been confirmed in countless studies, including Harvard Business School professor Gerald Zaltman. And this applies more than you might think. Even if you're selling your services to other businesses, there's still a person making that decision, right? And they're making it mostly based on subconscious emotions. And here's another important fact. People buy outcomes and results, not things or services. In other words, nobody's actually buying the thing you're selling, right? They're buying what your service does for them. If you install hardwood floors, they're not really buying lumber or even a floor. They're buying that feeling that having a beautiful new floor creates for them. And if we're being real honest, they're probably also buying into the increased status that comes from having an upgraded home. In other words, they want the compliments, right? If you're an accountant doing tax prep for your clients, they're not just paying for paperwork. They're paying for the peace of mind that comes with handing a really difficult task over to a true expert so they know they get to save a lot of time and probably save some money in all those tax deductions you're going to get for them. So even things that seem super logical have emotion behind them. So why do I even bring this up? Because knowing what motivates buying decisions helps out a lot when it comes to your messaging and the content that you need to include on your website, right? The words you use, the pages you need, and even the colors and the images you choose should all help to sell the emotion and the positive outcome that you provide. Because if you only talk about the density of the wood or which tax forms you fill out for them, you're missing the point. And you're missing the bigger opportunity to connect in a meaningful, much more primal way with your prospects. So really, it's all about creating smart content that plays into the way we as human beings actually make decisions. This involves giving out the right information at the right time in the right order to pique curiosity, drive desire, and maximize lead generations and sales. And if that sounds at all daunting, I've got some great news for you. All that stuff I just mentioned has already been worked out for you with proven frameworks, formulas, pages, and layouts that have been shown time and time again to help convert way more leads for service businesses than any other type of website can ever hope to. Trust me, I've tried everything over the years, and I go into all these details of this stuff inside of the Profitable Website Launchpad. And if you were to apply these principles the way I show you, you can realistically expect a significantly higher percentage of the traffic that's already coming through your website to take the next step toward working with you. And what that means is you can actually make more money in your business with no additional website traffic. Because here's the thing, more traffic isn't always what you need to make more money with your website. In fact, if your site isn't maximizing conversions with the traffic that you already have, you're wasting your time trying to fill your site with more people. The better and honestly way easier thing to do is to optimize what you already have. Now, I want to show you what I mean here. So let's say you have a website already and it's getting about 1% of your visitors to click that little call to action button to actually schedule, a consultation or an appointment with you. But if you could just make a simple tweak or two, whether it's redoing your hero section to be clearer, or including a really great benefits section, or even adding a video testimonial, anything that would bump that conversion rate up to 2%, you've effectively doubled your leads and most likely your revenue as a result. And the great news here is, I bet there's a ton of room for improvement and little levers that you can pull on your website that can make this kind of change, because I've honestly never come across any small business website that didn't have that room for improvement. Just to show you what's possible, I want to introduce you to Paul Bears, aka Paul the Plumber. So he and his team work out of New Hampshire, and he was actually doing fairly well for himself. He was doing a bit of online advertising between Google Ads and organic search engine optimization. And with that and what he had going on with his website before, he was actually pulling in an average of 285 leads every month. Sounds great, right? Like I said, he was already doing pretty well. So as good as 285 leads per month was, they just made a few small but smart tweaks to the website, including shifting the focus away from the tech specs and the nitty-gritty details of what they do toward talking about the benefits they provide to their clients. They added more client reviews, and they made it super easy to schedule a service and choose the time and date right on the website. And because of these tweaks that played directly into human psychology and how people make buying decisions, Paul the Plumber is now pulling in an average of 468 monthly leads. That's about a 160% increase in revenue, all because the website is now properly capturing the traffic that it already had. All those tweaks basically fixed the holes in the website that were letting way too many prospects drain out of it. And here's what I really want you to take away from this story and to understand about it. This isn't magic or mystical or about sending good vibes out into the universe. It's simply based on human psychology principles, also known as science. And guess what? Like anything else rooted in science, because human behavior is so widely understood, it's predictable, right? Which means these kinds of results are 100% repeatable. And that should give you a whole lot of hope for what your own website can do with the right tweaks, or, if you're starting from scratch, just nailing these psychological triggers right from the start. So that brings us to our next profitable website secret, which is, if you want to truly grow your business, you've got to focus on the 96%, not just the 4%. So what do these numbers mean? What do I mean by that? This has been extensively studied, and it might surprise you, but did you know that according to HubSpot, approximately 96% of your website's visitors aren't ready to buy just yet? That's the average percentage of your website traffic that's just in, what we call checking it out mode. And guess what? There's not much you can do to convince them to take you up on your offer. They're just not there yet. But your website can't afford to ignore that 96% of first-time visitors who aren't ready to buy today. If you do, they won't be back when they are ready. This is where most businesses leave massive amounts of money on the table. They think people just need to come to our website and they'll either buy or they won't buy. What they don't realize is that it's not about buying or not buying. It's a question of how long will it take to turn a casual visitor into a client. And when you ignore that question, you're leaving behind 96% of your potential profits just gone. While you want to make it ridiculously easy for everyone who is ready to take that next step with you to let them do that, 96% of your site visitors are just browsing. And another mistake businesses make, thinking they'll remember us, they'll totally come back when they're ready. The truth is, they're going to visit, anywhere from 5 to 10 of your competitors too. So the odds of them remembering you really aren't on your side. What you need to do is create something so valuable, so irresistible for them that they're going to willingly hand over their email address for it, even in those early stages when they aren't ready to make a decision. I'm talking about a lead magnet. So they get the content and you get a new lead that you can continue staying in front of while they make up their mind, cementing your business as the one they want to work with. But first, let's talk about the elephant in the room here. You may be thinking, okay, Wes, lead magnets just don't work anymore. Well, I'm here to tell you that's wrong, okay? The same lead magnets that worked in 2008 don't work anymore, but the right kind of upgraded lead magnet can work amazingly well. So what doesn't work anymore? First, newsletters. Remember when every website had that, subscribe to our newsletter line on it? Actually, I can't believe how many sites still have that. Nobody wants your newsletter because there's nothing in it for them. Ebooks, these used to work really well because people thought they were getting something really valuable and thorough. And now I'm not saying that an ebook can't get people excited if the title and the topic are really amazing, but the perceived value that they used to have is definitely lower than it used to be. Anything that could be considered general information. People have access to all kinds of information and they know it. So if you try to get people to give over their email address for, something like that's just titled How to Save Money, it's just way too general. Remember, it pays to be specific. Or any lead magnet that simply promises what you'll learn. Remember, nobody gets excited about information. They get excited about results. Today, it's all about creating a really exciting hook, that compelling subject, an intriguing title that promises an outcome or a transformation, not just that they'll learn something. So I want you to think transformation, not simply information. And there are a bunch of different types of lead magnets you could create. Some are really easy but still powerful. Some are much more complex, like a video series. But for this training, the goal here is just to get you up and running. So I'm going to focus on the types that you can brainstorm, create, and publish in a really short period of time. These are all going to be really high value as long as the topic resonates. And if you feel like you want to go more advanced in the future, go for it. So let's get into a few really simple options you have for your lead magnet. The first, checklist or cheat sheet. These convert extremely well because it's so easy to digest and it's really meant to be actionable. It also has the added bonus of being really easy to create too. Just start by thinking of a result that your potential clients might want to achieve that's closely related to your core service. Just for an example, I recently made a checklist about all the items that a business would need to check off if they want to rank in the map listings in local Google searches. And that checklist is downloaded hundreds of times every week. Next, we have a resource list or swipe file. So whenever you can use your expertise to put all the best stuff together in one place, you're saving your potential clients a ton of research time. For instance, if you're a wedding planner, you might want to put together a really comprehensive list of all your pre-vetted vendors that you personally recommend with a little note for each of them. Or an interior designer might want to put together a curated collection of her favorite design inspiration examples and photos. All right, now we have the good old-fashioned guide. So this is kind of like those old school ebooks that people used to offer, but it's usually quite a bit shorter, think 5 to 20 pages here. You would just write on a topic that you can cover that promises a result that your prospects would want. Remember, transformation, not information. Next, we have a template or a blueprint. So a template can be anything that provides an outline or some kind of a starting point so that your prospects doesn't have to start from scratch. So nobody likes staring at a blank page, and that's why this is a really highly converting type of lead magnet. Now, this magic email template is a really great example. It's something that entrepreneurs and small business owners can simply copy and paste and then just, customize a few words here and there, and then it's ready to send. And a template or blueprint can be a visual template. Like if you're a designer, you might create a Photoshop file that people would just need to fill in with their own logo to make an instant mock-up, for instance. Or it could be as simple as a Google Doc or a spreadsheet. It really just comes down to the nature of your content. And just to show you how powerful the right lead magnet can be for your business, I want to take this out of the world of theory and get into a few real world case studies to show you how this can play out for real business owners like you. So now I want to introduce you to business and mindset coach Lilac Bullock. Her lead magnet is called the Ultimate Email Swipe File, where she shows all of her highest converting sales emails that you can use for inspiration for your own email marketing campaigns. Now that swipe file converts over 56% of everyone that comes to her website, which admittedly that's very high, but she's doing it, so it's completely possible. So this does translate into some months where she adds as many as 1,000 new potential clients onto her email list. And if she were to close just 3% of that list into paying clients, that's up to 30 new clients every month that would have otherwise gotten lost in the shuffle. Even if she were to close just 1%, that's still 10 new clients every month. And it's a similar story for Danny Rustine, who shows Airbnb hosts how to get more bookings. So his guide is the 3 biggest mistakes most Airbnb hosts are making. And that one guide got him 1,500 subscribers in just 6 months and increased his overall revenue by 66%. Not too bad for a single piece of content that these guys created just one time, right? Can you start to see just how powerful this can be for the future of your business? So it's time now to make it real and brainstorm a bit after this training and think of the kind of freebie or lead magnet that you'd want to offer and promote on your website based on your area of expertise, as well as what you think would be most enticing to your potential clients. Now, in my opinion, this is truly the secret sauce that's going to fill your business with clients on demand. So I highly recommend you treat this as an actual vital piece of your overall website, not as an afterthought. Okay, time for our next profitable website secret, and this one is super important. So you are in the prime position to create your website yourself. In fact, I would argue that nobody else can do it better. You can easily and quickly create your website yourself without paying a designer thousands, even if you don't get tech or didn't go to design school. Now, I know what you may be thinking right now, Wes, you are crazy. I don't know the first thing about web design or writing content, and I sure as heck can't code a website. How can I possibly be the best person for the job? Well, I'm so glad you asked because I'm about to break it all down for you. So traditionally, if you wanted a new website, you had a few options. 1, you could hire a web designer. Sounds great, right? And honestly, if you have the funds for it, this really isn't a bad way to go. I am by no means demeaning what a trained professional can bring to a website project. I just think that there are pros and cons to going this way, just like everything else in business. First of all, we have the expense, right? So you can expect to pay a web designer about $1,000 on the extreme low end, but most are going to charge more in the $3,000 to $5,000 range if they've been at it for a while. Also, when you hire a designer, that's exactly what you're going to get. Design, aesthetics, something pretty to look at. Probably not so much in the strategy department. In other words, what about the content? All the stuff that you now know is so mission critical to the success of your website and your business. Guess what? That's not going to come from your designer. That's got to come from you if you want it. Unless you're spending over, the $10,000 range where you can hire someone who's a bit more of a web strategist. That's what I am. And that $10,000 is what I used to charge on the low end for what I provided my clients. And even then, it's not like they were totally off the hook. They still had to meet with me over the course of many hours for me to learn as much as I could about their business and their clients. Not to mention the approval process, content gathering, revision rounds. My clients were definitely very much still part of the process every step of the way. So really what I'm trying to say here is that outsourcing it doesn't mean you just get to hand it off to someone else. If you're doing it right, you're spending a lot of time and mental energy on it either way. And in the end, these kinds of website projects take a lot longer than you'd think because of all that back and forth. It's really not unusual for a designer-created website to take about 3 to 6 months when you factor all of those phases into it. Trust me, it always takes about twice as long as you think it's going to take. And unless you're paying for and getting that high level of service, Anything less isn't going to end up being any kind of investment in your business. It's just going to be an expense because without the strategy piece in place, you're very unlikely to ever make any of that money back. Now let's look at your other traditional option, going the old school, unguided DIY route. Now this usually would involve buying a WordPress theme or going with an online builder like Wix or Squarespace or something like that. And this has its own set of problems. True, the cost involved here is pretty minimal. You can definitely get free WordPress themes, and even the really good ones only cost about $60, but they're actually surprisingly hard to use, definitely not for beginners. And when you're talking about something like Wix, that's a monthly subscription, so you have to pay a recurring fee for it, which means you're building on rented land, and it's also pretty tricky to work with. I actually just did a little experiment for my YouTube channel and tried to build my first website using Wix a few months back, and I gotta be honest with you, I hated the experience. It was laggy and pretty buggy, and if I had to compare it to something, it honestly felt like I was just duct taping the whole thing together, if that makes sense. It really just seemed like it's there for small businesses to be able to slap something up really quickly. But the worst part about doing it truly all on your own is that you really don't know what you're supposed to be making, and you never really know when it's good enough to call it done. These templates you'd be working with are purely visual, meaning a designer just designed the page based on what they thought looked cool with no regard for what content actually needs to go on which pages for maximum impact on your sales and lead generation. No designer, whether they're just designing the template you're working with or if they're working with you directly, knows your business and your clients like you do. And that puts you in the unique position of being the absolute perfect person to create your own website. You just need to include the right information in the right order, which I'll get to in a minute, but then the question becomes, how in the world can you physically translate that into a functioning website that's live and online if you're not techie or a designer? Well, I want to show you my absolute favorite way of designing and launching a website. It's a free WordPress plugin called Elementor. You can get it up and running in minutes, and honestly, the process couldn't be any easier. You can do just about anything and create just about any layout you can imagine using it. All you do is go section by section, choosing between hundreds of pre-designed content blocks that best fit your own content. Then just start customizing each block with your own content, your own images, fonts, colors, you name it, with a visual editor that anyone can pick up in minutes. The funny thing is, when I used to create websites for clients before I found Elementor, I would just design the visual mockups in Photoshop, and then I'd have to hand them off to a developer who would actually code them into a working, functioning website. But when I discovered Elementor, I just played around with it and completely got it within 30 minutes or so. It's that intuitive. And I was then able to skip the mockup phase and just design right in Elementor, which is a huge time saver for me, and it's gonna be for you too. And remember, everything you're seeing here, we're doing all of this without any code whatsoever. We're just dragging and dropping elements into place and then using this side panel to customize how the different elements look. You can even switch to mobile view to make small tweaks to the mobile version to make sure it looks great on all of your clients' devices. It only takes a few extra minutes to go through and make it perfect for people who are on the go. So I want to introduce you to one of my students, Steve. He runs a business in the tree and lawn care space, and he must have tried every possible way of getting a website up and running for his business. Everything from Wix, Squarespace, using WordPress themes. He even paid for a few courses over the years to show him the ropes, but he was still stuck. But then, after seeing this training, he gave it another shot, but this time he used Elementor. And guess what? That was the method that finally gave Steve the power and confidence to build the whole thing very quickly, even though he went into it thinking of himself as a complete novice. Well, not anymore. Now Steve can basically create any page he ever needs using Elementor because it was so easy to pick up and master in one afternoon. So are you seeing how easy all this is? I really wanted you to see how it works so that you can just get in there and play around with it for yourself. But I hope you're starting to see now that, okay, this is doable. I can definitely put together a clear, simple website that connects with my potential clients. So now I have a question for you. How would you like my step-by-step guidance to get your profitable client-generating website created and launched with no step left out? Now, I can't be 100% certain why you're here with me today, but I've got 3 guesses. You're super excited about your service business and you want to stack the deck in your favor. You want to get it right so that you can make your business profitable and successful. Or you're sick and tired of always hustling for business and you know that the right website can take some of that load off of your plate. At this point, the way I see it, you have 2 options. You stay the course without a strategic web presence and your business pretty much stays in the same place you're stuck in right now. Or you can 100% commit to creating your first profitable website in weeks, not months, using a proven roadmap with me as your guide. So if you're ready to create and launch that website and you want the roadmap to get you there, I want to personally invite you into the Profitable Website Launchpad. The Launchpad is the only implementation program of its kind that not only shows you exactly how to create your perfect website sales message, but how to easily translate it into a fully functioning WordPress website and launch it like a pro so it's online, attracting and automatically persuading potential clients in just a few short weeks. So let me tell you not just what you'll get when you enroll in the Launchpad, but what you'll actually accomplish, because that's the important stuff, right? So by the end of the program, you'll have nailed your most persuasive and profitable sales message, translated that messaging into the written content for every single page of your website, seamlessly created the one piece of content that's going to fill your business pipeline with all the future clients you can handle, talking about your lead magnet, and finally, you'll have expertly launched your new web asset so it's live, online, and ready to generate those clients on demand every day automatically. But now let's get a little more specific. I'm going to walk you through all 4 modules so that you can see the big picture of what we're going to accomplish together. Module 1, that's all about planning it out. Module 2, this is where we're going to take all that planning and create all of your content, including your written content and the images too. And then in Module 3, that's all about the lead magnet. That's the piece where we're going to create that one pillar piece of content that's going to keep people coming back over and over again into your business. And finally, in Module 4, that's where we get to bring this all to life using WordPress and Elementor, and it's super easy. Now, the total value of this program is valued at $2,000, and the way I arrived at that price is if I would charge $10,000 to $15,000 for a done-for-you website strategy and design, I think it's very conservatively worth at least this much for me to sell you my system and walk you through my proven process step by step, action by action. Not to mention, this new website will likely be worth much more than this in new client generation for your business. And enrollment is officially open for you this week only, so just go to wesmcdowell.com/join. And now I want to tell you about a special bonus because you might be thinking, this sounds great, Wes, but I'm not a designer. How can I make my site look like a pro actually created it? So I added this bonus to the program at no additional cost. You're going to get access to my personally designed site kit template. I've already created the optimal layout and flow here to best showcase the content that we're going to create together in the program and to maximize your leads. So you're going to get multiple layout blocks for each section of your website that you can choose between, then fill in with your own content, and then customize with your own images, colors, fonts, you name it. And you'll learn how to do all of this inside of the program. Now, I put a value on this of $497, but truthfully, if I were to sell this on its own, I'd probably charge more for it. This site kit's really going to help you out if you feel stuck in the design department because you won't have to start from a blank page if you don't want to. It honestly couldn't be any easier to work with this. I actually get comments from my students all the time in the Facebook group where they're kind of shocked how intuitive and customizable the site kit is. Just check out this message I got from one of my students, Gary Wilkinson. He's a bed and breakfast owner consultant, and he said, loving the thousands of different combinations and options that we could have just using the proven template. I can't believe the amount of work that must have gone into creating it. So love hearing little messages like that. So here's the thing. This system works for any service-based business, regardless of the abilities that you bring to the table. Because I'm gonna walk you through every single piece with all the formulas, frameworks, and step-by-step processes. This is the exact same roadmap that I would use for every successful website that I created for my full service clients. And for the first time ever, I'm sharing my entire system. Using my roadmap, you can do it too. So before we go any further, I just want to share some real results that real members have gotten as a direct result of what they put into action using the Launchpad. So right now, I want to introduce you to Marvin and Evie. Marvin is a videographer in New York City, and he came into this with a really outdated brochure type website that never really helped him book any clients. But he booked his first one through his simplified site before he was even finished with it. He was literally just in the middle of making it and it was up online, and he booked a client through that unfinished website. So he's gone on to book many more since then, but how cool that it already started getting good before he was even done with it. And Evie is a travel planner out of Orange County, California. She specializes in Disney vacations. And this was always more of a side hustle for her, right? A hobby business for the past 10 years, simply because she was never able to get enough clients. Marketing was always a challenge for her, and she never really figured out her website. But within just a few months after launching her new website, she was booking more clients and reaching a comfort level where she could finally go all in and full time on her business. And that was during COVID too. For a travel planner to get a business going during COVID, I mean, that is huge. Now, the next bonus you're gonna get is one that came by popular demand. So this whole program is really about how to create and launch the website that's gonna turn cold site visitors into flaming hot customers and clients. But one thing that people kept asking me was, are you gonna show us how to get people to this site in the first place? And I'm happy to say the answer is now yes. So I took a lot of time perfecting this bonus module, which contains 7 in-depth video trainings to help you decide which traffic plan you should be focusing on depending on your unique situation, and simple yet detailed instructions of how to implement each one. So I cover all my best strategies for search engine optimization, getting found in the map pack in Google, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google ads, and a few actually really surprising traffic sources that I happen to love for service businesses. So once you've launched your site, you can dive right into this module to fill your site with a really steady flow of traffic right out of the gate. And you can also use the same strategies to drive lots of traffic to your new lead magnet so you can start building up your email list and get those really big time results that I showed you earlier in the training. And if I were to sell this as a standalone course, I would be charging no less than $397 for it. I know going for a program like this can be nerve-wracking because you're thinking, what if I don't like it? Or what if it doesn't work? Well, I just want to eliminate that fear for you right now. So if you enroll and you aren't satisfied for any reason within 30 days of enrollment, I'll gladly give you a refund. No questions asked. If it's not for you, I don't want to take your money. I'm confident, however, that you will love the program, which is another reason why I'm totally okay with offering this policy. But now I want to talk about a Launchpad alumni, Colin. So he runs an exterior contracting business, and he recently completed the program, and he's got a really cool story of what happened next. So let's just hear a really quick snippet from him when my team was interviewing him for a testimonial.
And how soon after you built the website did you get your first client from
Oh,
the
they're
website?
going, no, yeah. I mean, that's right away. Like a random Wednesday night, we sold one of the largest projects we've ever sold. The customer was like, yeah, super happy with what I see on the website. Like, this is exactly what I want. You guys have this and this. And we were like, yeah, hey, great. Let's send out somebody to the house. We did, boom, boom, fully remote, never even met the person or shook their hand. And like I said, one of the biggest projects we've ever done. I mean, that one job alone was $125,000 or $130,000.
Crazy.
So now people are going to be able to like go online and schedule and pay for these services versus us having to send a sales guy out there and pay him 10% on it.
That's pretty incredible. And I was honestly pretty blown away when I watched that back for the first time. Okay, so now it's time for the bonus that you're really going to love. But just to remind you, you're going to get the complete profitable website training program, my personally designed site kit template, the brand new Turbo Traffic bonus training module, and finally, weekly live Q&A sessions with me for troubleshooting and clarity. Now, I did put a $597 value on this. Just to put that in perspective, I charge $1,000 for a 1-hour one-on-one coaching, and you're gonna get 3 full months of access to ask me any questions you have while you get your site up and running and well into the lifetime of your business. I will answer all your questions each and every week on Facebook Live video. So this is gonna be hugely helpful for if you ever get stuck or when you need to validate an idea. And if you ever miss it live, all those videos are gonna be archived in the group for you to go back to, so you can show up live or you can just watch the playback later, it's up to you. Now altogether, this program is valued at $3,491. But right now, I know you're wondering what it actually costs. Now you might be thinking I'm charging thousands for this, and I probably should. It's that good. The results you can create in this program are game-changing. And everyone I know in the industry told me that I should charge at least $2,000 for this. However, I know you're here today because you're serious about creating and launching a profitable website, but that price point would be tough for you at this stage in your business. So I cut it down by more than 75%, okay? I want this program to be affordable for you. I want you to be able to enroll today, jump in and just get started creating your new website. That's why I decided to price it much lower than I probably should. But here's the thing, this is a very limited enrollment period and the doors will be closing at the end of 7 days and you won't get another chance to join until our next open enrollment, which we only do 3 times a year. And no, this isn't one of those things where I'm just saying that and you can still get in next week or whenever you decide to. I do have software in place that enforces this deadline and a timer started for you when you pressed play on this training. So once the time's up, it's up. And not only do the doors to the program close for about 6 months, but there are a few extra bonuses that you can only get during your intro week that's happening right now for you that I'm not gonna ever offer during those open enrollment periods, and I wanna tell you about those right now. So the first limited time bonus you'll get when you enroll today is I'm gonna upgrade your membership in our private Facebook group from the standard 3-month access to a full year. That means getting your questions answered by me personally for an entire 12 months. That means I can help you through your launch, and then we can turn our attention to what you should be doing next, or all my best advice for your digital marketing, you name it. If you ask it in the Facebook group during the next 12 months, you're gonna get an answer from me personally on video. But it gets even better. I still have one more really cool bonus for you. So remember at the beginning of this video, I said if you stuck around, you could see how you can get a free one-on-one session with me to go over your finished site with you, where I can offer my personalized feedback on it. Well, all you need to do to get your session with me is to register for the program today. You'll get immediate access to book that Zoom call right inside your members area. And I really hope you take me up on this offer, because when you put my one-on-one feedback with what you're gonna learn in the program, this is really the closest you'll ever get to me creating your website for you. So if you know that you want to get started with your new automated Clients on Demand website, this is the week to lock in your lifetime access, because those 2 extra bonuses, they'll never be mentioned again in future enrollment cycles. And if you're ready to get started, you've got some options. So to make it even easier on you, I decided to give you the choice to break your payment into 6. So you can get started for just $97 today with 5 more installments of $97 to follow, each a month apart. Or if you want to make things easier, just 1 payment of $497 today and you're good to go. All you need to do is go to wesmcdowell.com/join. And once you're in, this is what that's going to look like on the inside of the members area. So you'll want to start by watching this quick intro video where I go over the high-level overview of exactly what's in store for you. And then I actually want you to check out the right-hand sidebar where I've included a link directly to the members-only Facebook group where you'll go with all your questions. And again, if you enroll this week, you get a whole 12 months access to that group. So it's lifetime access to the course, but a full year of being able to ask me anything inside of that group. So in order to get in there, your first step is just go to wesmcdowell.com/join. From there, just pick the pricing option that works best for you and you're good to go. And we're going to be getting into the Q&A section in just a minute here, but before we get there, I know what you might be thinking right about now. One thing you might be thinking is, my business is different. How do I know that this is going to work for my business? And here's the thing. This system works for any service business because it takes all the unique details of your business and just channels them through my proven framework. All that framework is really designed to do is to clearly communicate your unique value to your potential clients in a way that makes them sit forward and want to know more. If you solve a problem for clients, big or small, and honestly, at the end of the day, what business doesn't do that? This framework will work for you because it flexes to fit your unique circumstances. Whether you're a plumber, interior designer, accountant, attorney, or dog walker, this framework will work for you. The formulas I share are going to allow your website to be as unique as your business itself. And just to give you a good idea of how flexible the Launchpad really is, here are just a few types of businesses and entrepreneurs who are already experiencing success inside the program. Just look at how varied all of these businesses are. Everything from a massage therapist to a carpet cleaning business, photographer, contractors, and even quite a few web designers who actually use this program on all of their various clients in even more niches. And of course, these are just a few business types that have already said yes and are absolutely loving the program because it's helping them get launched and get new clients in weeks rather than months. However, I do need to put this disclaimer down here. This program's really not recommended for e-commerce websites or, restaurants or bars or the affiliate marketing businesses. If you're trying to make money directly on your website, it's probably not for you. And to be honest, restaurant and bar websites are really kind of their own thing. They're not so reliant on a marketing message. They're more reliant on photos and reviews. So there's just a different focus there that we won't really be covering in this particular program. And if your plan is to create a website where you can sell ad space or affiliate products, this won't really help you do that either. So if, however, you provide a service and you want to use your website to schedule consults and appointments, essentially bringing new prospects into your business, this is the perfect program for you. Or you might be thinking, I can probably just figure this all out on my own from here. After what I've shown you here today, along with piecing together other YouTube videos and examples, you might eventually come fairly close. But let's imagine something right now. You've probably been to IKEA, right? So imagine you go there and you pick out an amazing kitchen that you're going to assemble over the weekend. You get all the boxes home, but guess what's missing? The instructions, the step-by-step part. You could probably take everything out of the boxes, study all the pieces, and that big weird bag of 18 different kinds of screws, and maybe you could eventually figure out how everything fits together, and you might just want to tear your hair out by the end of it too. So you could save money by just winging it, but you're running your own business, so you know that your time is valuable too. Wouldn't you rather know that you're going in the right direction so that you can just go all in on a plan that you know is going to work? Having that start to finish roadmap makes it so much easier and faster and more efficient to get to that finished product so that you can then move on to other things. And it's the exact same thing with your website. Now you remember Marvin, he's the owner of Self Tape NYC, and his service he offers is pretty cool. He helps actors in New York put together really polished professional audition tapes. And about a year ago, he went through this exact training that you're watching right now, and he thought he'd gotten just enough good information to go out and start creating his website on his own. He knew how to handle his homepage hero section, and he knew the broad strokes of what to include on the site and what to leave out, and what kind of lead magnet he wanted to use. He was even really inspired by the fact that he could physically create his own website after seeing the Elementor demo that I showed you a few minutes ago. But as he got started, he realized that he still didn't have the step-by-step. He knew he wanted deeper help with the site content that was actually going to sell his services. So let's hear it from Marvin directly. Did the Launchpad deliver above and beyond what he got in this free masterclass?
The difference between the free course and the actual full course was huge. And I actually didn't even know that there was so much more to learn that I didn't already know from the free training, or just going on YouTube and trying to watch every video that Wes has ever uploaded, piecemealing all that information in my head. It is so streamlined and easy to follow. I mean, he literally walks you through step by step, starting with who's the ideal customer, how do you translate the stuff that you know how to do into something that they'll understand. And then he takes you through each step, resulting in these awesome templates that he made, where you just sort of plug in all that homework that you did to prepare for that step. It operates on its own, so people can book through the website. The clients go through the website, through the various sort of funnels and questionnaires,
huge. Yeah.
and then they end up on the other side where it's a client that I'm working with.
That's pretty powerful stuff, right? And I hear this kind of thing from my members and my students all the time. Or you might be thinking, I'm busy enough, I don't have the time to take this on too. And I hear that. Running your own business can definitely have you burning the candle on both ends. Believe me, I've been there myself. But the truth is, if you're strapped for time, this is exactly the shortcut you need. Okay, the truth is, you will need to carve out a bit of time to work on your new client-generating website if you want big-time results. But since everything's been thought out for you in advance, it's a heck of a lot less time than you'd think. I want to introduce you to Patty, and Patty is super busy in her business. Maybe you can relate to that. She finally finished her new site, but it took her a while. Not because it physically took a long time to do, but because she bought the program months ago and sat on it because she thought she was too busy in her own business to actually get started. But here's what really happened.
The only concern I had from signing up initially was just knowing when I could have the time to do it. And even though I signed up months ago, I was hoping I would get the time, and I didn't. So I didn't get it started, but it was sitting there waiting for me to get in there. I was putzing around for a little bit, and then I finally sat down and started working on it really heavily. And when I did that, it was up and running within within a few days. And
it's not just Patty. Her story's actually not that unique. I have several other members who've reached out to me and let me know that they were able to finish quickly too, even when they thought they were too busy or that the program would take too much time to finish. They were all really pleasantly surprised how fast the process went. Like Gilbert Russell, he says, it only took me 2 really focused days to create all the content and then build the site out. It's so easy to get overwhelmed with something like this, but it was all so smooth. And this is Anna. And inside the private Facebook group, she told me that she couldn't have done this in less than a week without the program. Now, yes, these guys went really fast, but I don't want you to feel the pressure to do that if you would rather go a bit slower. So you do get lifetime access to the program, so there's zero rush. But the sooner you can finish, the sooner you'll start seeing those results. And that's why I worked so hard to make this as streamlined as possible for you, to just get in and launched as quickly as possible. And here's the real tough love truth of it. The busier you are, the more you need a leveraged, freedom-building, client-generating website like this in your business. That little bit of time that you're going to invest now can free you up immensely once it's over with. Remember, this website's all about putting automation into your business. All it's going to take is a little setup, and then you reap the time-saving benefits for years after that. Or you might be thinking, I'm not a designer or a writer or a website developer. How can I pull this off? Now, I saw this one coming because I know not everybody comes to the table with these skills. So let's just talk about these issues, starting with the design side. How can the Launchpad provide you with a beautiful looking website, even if you're, let's just say, design challenged? Well, here's what's included inside of the program that's going to ensure your design success. So first off, we have expertly curated bonus guides and video trainings to help you choose color combos and font pairings so that you can just pick one you like and run with it. From there, you're going to start with my expertly designed Elementor layouts that weren't designed arbitrarily to just look cool, right? I designed each one myself to follow the best flow for maximum impact, persuasion, and you better believe conversions. There's a step-by-step tutorial on how to customize every page on your site so you can follow along 100% and add your own touches if and when you're inspired to. There's a whole lesson on how to choose the best images and where to find them for a really affordable price, as well as free options too. So you're going to be an expert at image selection by the end. And I love this one. There's a whole lesson on really cool customizations that you can choose to add in the end to make your site even more unique if you choose to do that. So I want you to look at these home pages, okay? Guess what? These were all designed and built using the Launchpad. You know, while they all follow a similar format, notice how unique they all feel from each other, right? When you follow along with me here, you'll not only get the optimal layout, you're gonna learn all my best little tips and tricks of picking the right images, the right colors and fonts that make your site stand apart from all the rest. In other words, you're not alone in this, I promise you that. So now I want to tell you about another recent enrollee who had a very similar concern, right? He'd never done his own site before, and he wasn't sure if he had the right stuff. And by that, I just mean the design talent to pull it off. But here's a Facebook exchange between Jerome McEwen and another enrollee after he successfully launched his new site within just a few weeks, and then he showed it to the private Facebook group. So he said, "Even I'm surprised at what came from my own fingers thanks to good guidance. Plus, I saved a ton of back and forth with the designer, the program works." So I love reading that kind of stuff and helping real business owners succeed even where they've failed in the past. And when it comes to writing the content for your brand new site, first of all, we're going to come up with all the important messaging beats you should be using just by you answering some really simple prompts and questions. And of course, I have all my favorite writing frameworks and formulas that you're going to use to spin all that raw messaging into the finished copy. But if you want any extra help with that, I've got a really cool extra bonus, I just did this one, that's going to help you get the writing done not only really quickly, but in a way that's going to sound like a professional copywriter wrote it for you. So I don't know if you've heard of ChatGPT, but it's an incredibly powerful and free online AI tool that can do a lot of things, but it's particularly useful and good at writing content. So gotta be honest with you, I don't know how it works as well as it does, but trust me when I say this is a true game changer. And when you use it right, it can be a really great tool to get you up and running with all your website copy in probably an hour or two. I'm not even kidding. And I actually got this message from one of my students who turned me on to this idea. He was just playing around with it on his own, using his workbook from the program, and the words were just flowing so easily for him. So the bonus that I'm including for you here is a special brand new free workshop video where I show you how to take your Customer Saga workbook that you'll have all your messaging ideas written down in, and I'm going to show you how by using the right prompts inside of ChatGPT, you can have it write everything for you in a way that sounds lively, friendly, and above all, human. The trick is just knowing what to ask it to do, and that's what this extra training is all about. Now, I gotta say, this is just here as a bonus if you want to try it. If not, if this sounds too much for you, you don't need to use it. Trust me, all of the writing frameworks are simple enough to master on your own without this. But this is just a really cool new technology that can help you out even more if you want that help. And it's going to be waiting right inside your members area if you want to try it. And of course, what if you're not a coder or you don't speak HTML? Here's a secret. Neither do I, right? I know what goes into a great website that converts, but I never used to build any of the sites I designed myself. You know, I had a web developer who would do that part for me. That is, until I discovered Elementor. You saw yourself earlier how easy it is to drag and drop elements into place. So you don't have to worry about that. I'm going to show you how to do this step by step. And remember, as part of the program, you're going to get my site kit that you can use right out of the box. All it really takes is a few minutes to customize it with your own images, colors, fonts, all that good stuff. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do all of it. I'm not going to skip any steps. So when I walk you through the entire process for every single page in Module 4, you're going to get the hang of this in minutes. And by the end, I bet you're going to be off-roading a bit too and adding your own little touches because it's actually a lot of fun to play around with. So even if you're scared off by the technology right now, You're going to be a pro within those first few lessons, I assure you that. And if you still doubt that you can do this, I want you to meet Steve. He's another recent Launchpad grad who was on, I think, his 5th attempt at creating his website, and pretty much nothing he had tried had clicked for him for one reason or another. But he enrolled in the Launchpad, and here's what he said to me on our Zoom call we had a few months back.
Well, first, let me say this. Let me just compliment you both on the content and the structure of your class. It's been absolutely phenomenal. It's the first time in multiple tries, Wix, Squarespace, WordPress, etc., that I've actually been able to put a website together. So between your instruction and the way the course content's laid out and your presentation quality, it's been superb. So kudos to you for putting it all together in a package that's so easy to follow that even a novice can figure it out.
So do you still have any doubts that you can make this work for you too? If so, you might be thinking, okay, I can do this, but for any website to work, it needs traffic. How am I going to get people to my site? Does the program address that? And again, I'm happy to say that yes, it does. Remember, you do get the brand new bonus module Turbo Traffic as a free add-on to the program, which is essentially a course inside the course. So I recommend going through the core content and getting your site 100% finished and launched, and then you'd go through the Turbo Traffic module to learn all my best secrets, tactics, and tutorials that you should be using based on your specific business type and your audience. And the first video in this module is all about helping you choose your very best traffic source or sources. And then you choose your own adventure and watch the videos that apply to your situation. I cover everything here from the most comprehensive yet simple SEO strategies, how to get found in the Google Maps listings, Facebook and Instagram ads, Google ads, and more. And just like anything inside the core program, you can ask me questions relevant to your situation anytime during my weekly live Q&A videos inside of the Facebook group. So I'm here to help you get that traffic and then convert that traffic. You are truly not on your own here. I've got your back every step of the way. And one person who really saw success with this is another recent graduate, Rebecca Hayes. And Rebecca owns Lux Inc., an eyebrow tattoo studio in Australia. And she had never been able to crack the code when it comes to being found in her home city of Perth. But after creating her new website, she went through Turbo Traffic, and that helped her decide on a direction that she wanted to go all in on, which was local SEO. And then she watched that deep dive video all about local SEO, which armed her with all the action steps she needed to take before being found in the Google local map pack. So I got this email from her saying that the update she was able to make to her Google My Business listing actually helped her not just get more traffic to her site, but more bookings as a result too. So this is really the 1-2 punch you need to make all this work. The right website and the right traffic plan to fill your site with way more of the right people who can turn into your best paying clients. So if you're ready to finally create the profitable client generating website for your service business, just go to wesmcdowell.com/join. Even if all this program did for you was help you save thousands of dollars on your new website, wouldn't that alone be worth this price? But honestly, it's going to do so much more for you than that, creating a fully leveraged asset that you can create and launch that will attract new clients into your business every single day. Now, I want to introduce you to one last recent student of mine, Aaron Atwell, who got through the program very quickly. He sent me this video and I wanted to share a quick snippet of it with you just so that you can hear this from a real student of the Launchpad program. So let's just hear from Aaron.
I've gone through that course and I've been able to create a website for myself, which sells for my business 24/7. And going through that process, I've learned so much more about who I'm targeting, how to speak to these people, and how to build an asset that can convey that messaging for me all the time. So I've freed up my time by using this web asset as leverage. The course Wes has put out has revolutionized this component of my business. And thank you for you creating this course. It was exactly what I was waiting for.
Wow, guys, I mean, that's the kind of thing that's just music to my ears when I get a message like that from one of my students. I just love it. So Are you starting to see now how this can really change your business for the better? Okay, so now I want to take the rest of our time here together to answer some common questions that you likely have at this point as well. So my goal here is just to get you off the fence one way or the other. You know, if the program's going to benefit you and your business, I want you to know that. And if it's not for you, or if you're really not ready at this point, I want you to feel good about that decision too. And if you have any other questions that I don't answer here, I want you to email me directly at hello@wesmcdowell.com and I'll help you figure it out, right? If I don't think it's right for you, I promise I'll be straight with you. Okay, here we go with the Q&A. So this one is by far the number one question I get emailed about, which is some version of, I already have a website that I made with something other than WordPress, whether it's Wix or Squarespace, and I still want to use that other platform. Will the Launchpad still help me do that? And my answer is always the same. The thing is, the real benefit of this program isn't the physically building the website part. Yes, it's important, right? You need to have that website up and running, but the true value of the Launchpad is creating the content that sells. And that's what 3/4 of this course is all about. Then, I just happen to teach you how to bring it to life using WordPress and Elementor because that's my favorite way and the easiest way of doing it, especially for newbies. But, if you're using Wix or Squarespace or some platform that's specific to your industry and you already know how to use it, great. As long as you can customize that enough to be able to put all of this new persuasive content and messaging that we're going to create together, then yes, this is still going to work for you. I won't be able to walk you through that whole process like I could if you were using WordPress and Elementor, of course, but you can still follow along with those lessons to see all the sections that I make and then just recreate them using the website platform that you're more comfortable with. Okay, next question. I'm not sure if this will benefit my business. I have really specific pages that I need on my site. So remember how we talked earlier in this session about how most businesses just say too much on their websites, right? The truth is, every service business website needs a few key pages and not much else. So when you start adding all those extra pages and areas, you really run the risk of overwhelming your prospects with information overload. So this program simplifies and clarifies your messaging in a way that's proven to work for every single service business out there. So if you think your business is different, that there are other pages you definitely need, first of all, I would just challenge you to ask yourself this. Are those pages actually going to lead to more clients, or are those pages you just want to include? And to be fair, right, there may be extenuating circumstances where yes, you'll need extra pages, but here's the good news if that's your case, right? Once you go through the program and learn how we build each page, you're gonna have the know-how to just be able to go in and add any other pages or sections you ever need. But if you need extra functionalities like e-commerce or user-generated content or membership areas, or if your website is your business, right, and you're making money off of it directly with people entering their credit card information, then you're probably right. This program isn't what you need right now. This program, the Launchpad, is all about creating you a really dialed-in sales funnel website with messaging that's designed to convert visitors into paying clients. And because it can be so customized in its messaging and overall aesthetics, you'd be amazed how versatile it actually is. Okay, next question is, do I need to buy anything else or spend any more money along with the program? And the answer to that is yes, there are certain tools and assets that you'll need to invest some money in as you go, right? Things like web hosting, you can't get around that. But I've worked out a deal actually for my students. You can pay as little as $3 a month for that. Then Elementor Pro, you're gonna need that. The free version isn't generally enough, so that's $59. There is that free version, but it's really limited. And I think the Pro version is 100% worth the price. And a lot of those features that are only included with Pro are actually gonna be used in the building phase if you wanna do it right. Also, there are another few areas where I'm going to advise you to outsource certain elements to a designer, such as designing the look of your finished lead magnet. Now, this can be as little as $30, and I do give you step-by-step guidance on exactly how to go about having that done for you. So all in all, I would plan on having an extra $200 to $300 to invest in your new site and to keep your, moving forward to the finish line. And in the end, you're still going to have an incredibly valuable automated sales tool for your business for well under what you'd even think to pay a beginner level designer. Okay, next question. I don't want my website to look the same as everybody else's in the program. Won't they all look similar if we're following the same roadmap? The answer to that is no, because while I walk you through that optimal layout that I recommend for you, there are so many opportunities for customization along the way. First of all, the images are chosen by you, as are the colors and the fonts. And sure, I do give you my expert guidance in choosing, but all those choices you make are going to make your site uniquely yours. Then, as we get into that building phase, you can choose between different content blocks from my pre-made site kit that you then customize with, again, your own content and your own style. So, and actually one of my favorite lessons in the program is toward the end, where I actually show you some cool alternate layouts and how to apply these really slick looking motion effects that can really personalize the feel of your site even more. And what's cool about the program is that once we get into the building phase, you're going to really quickly get the feel for how to add new content blocks and style them. So you can follow me really closely if you want to do that, or more loosely if you feel inspired to veer off a bit and you feel confident, which you probably will about a half hour into it. So you're still going to want to design in a way that supports that written content that we've created. But there are a lot of ways of presenting it, which you're going to see once we get inside of Elementor. So in the end, your site will be unique to you because you're ultimately the one making all the choices. I'm just there to guide you and show you all of your options. Okay, next question. I'm not quite ready to get started yet. When does the program start? So thing about that is once you enroll, you have lifetime access to the program and you can go completely at your own pace. But remember that the deadline to enroll is in just about 7 days and you won't get another chance until our next open enrollment period, which we only offer 3 times a year. So you'd likely be waiting, 4 or 5 months or more. So if you think that you want to get started now or later, just lock in your enrollment today and I'll be waiting inside to help you whenever you're ready to jump in. Okay, next, how much time do I need to invest? So the program is really designed to be worked through in about 4 weeks. If you do 1 week per module, that's a nice leisurely pace to do it. So I'd plan on spending about 3 to 5 hours per module. So if you're really motivated, you could have a finished website in 2 weekends worth of really hard work, but the course is completely self-paced, so there's zero pressure to get through it that quickly. All right, next question. What happens when technology changes? Will there be updates to the program to keep it current? So while I can't promise that I'll provide updates forever, I absolutely will in the foreseeable future. Meaning if a new version of Elementor comes out, I'm going to update the course videos so that you'll have the latest, greatest version. I've already done that a couple times here in the program. So, but other than that, the marketing principles that make up the first 3 modules of the program are not going to go out of style anytime soon, right? They've been working for decades, but as I learn new tricks, you better believe that I'm going to be sharing them with you in updates as needed. So you can use this program now and well into the future for any future business that you may want to start. So there's really no limits to how you can use it. Okay, next question. What if I have questions as I work through the program? Will there be any support available? Yeah, definitely in several ways. So you're definitely going to want to join the members only Facebook group. Remember, I've talked about that. That's going to have other students of the program in there, many of whom will be further along in the process. So that's great for bouncing ideas around and brainstorming with other like-minded entrepreneurs. Also, I want to make sure you know that if you ask a question in that group and you use the right hashtag, I'll be doing an hour-long live Q&A session every single week inside of that group. So if you ask a question, I'm going to personally give you an answer in that session the very same week. And the cool thing about it is those videos are archived. So if you can't make it live, you can always watch it later on, that evening or whatever. And what's cool too is you can also watch the archive of previous videos, which can be unbelievably valuable to learn from what other people have been asking. Okay, next, what if I enroll and decide it just isn't for me? So I've made it really easy for you, right? Within 30 days, if you decide you're not getting what you want out of it, or if you just don't like it for any reason, you don't like me, you don't like the lessons, I'm just gonna give you a refund, no questions asked. The last thing that I want for you is to feel trapped, and I'm confident that you will love it, which is why I don't mind offering it. So there's really no risk if you decide to go on this journey with me. And if you have any questions you'd like answered that I haven't covered here, just email me at hello@wesmcdowell.com. Either me or one of my team members will respond as soon as possible. I really just want to make sure you don't leave here today on the fence. I know it's an uncomfortable place to be. So if you're a good fit for the program, I want you to take that next step. And if it isn't right for you, I want you to feel good about that decision too. So just email with those questions. Again, hello@wesmcdowell.com, and we'll help you figure out if you're a good fit or not. And finally, I want to give you a big thank you for joining me here today. I hope I got you excited about what's possible for your website, and I really hope that you'll decide to take me up on my offer to help guide you toward the finish line. So think about it. But just know that the clock is now ticking for your enrollment and for those extra special bonuses that you're not going to hear about in future enrollment cycles, like that one-on-one review session with me and the extended membership in the Facebook group. So whatever you decide, I wish you all the best on your journey. And just you being here with me today all the way to the end of this video says a lot about you and your level of dedication to your business. So I know you're going to go far. I just want to help you go a little farther and get there a whole lot faster. So hope to see you inside soon.